Welcome to the Monday Night Call-In Show. We're going to talk Clemson football. If you want to bring up another college football team, I won't stop you. I love college football, so, why wouldn't we? But anyway, if you want to call in and talk Clemson football tonight, I'm going to drop a link here in the live chat so you can hop on. We can talk Clemson football. You don't have to show your face. You can actually cut off the camera, turn off the camera, however you want to put that. You can do that. And I will tell you this, the software I normally use is really struggling, all thanks to the AWS issue today. If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically, if you went on a website today or anywhere and it was just really weird, some of them even crashed, it's because AWS, it's Amazon Web Services. I think that's the name of it. Anyway, I want to say it crashed globally or went down, and it's a mess. So even the software that I use is affected by it. So anyway, I'm trying to drop this link in there right now, and it is just giving me the spinny wheel. So I may have to do that another way, but we can talk Clemson football here. I'm going to try this a different way. I just dropped a video just a few moments ago talking about Bryant Wesco. If you haven't heard, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I've done it before. Bryant Wesco is done for the season, and Dabo said it could have been much worse, but prayers weren't answered. At the same time, his season is completely over. So I want you to think about this. Our leading wide receiver and one of the few players on the team who did okay, has been having a solid season. He's done now. So yeah, go figure. Go figure. I mean, it's just more stuff for us Clemson fans have to just sit there and shake our head and go, why? But it's happening. And so it's just really tough to sit and watch that. I hate it for him. As I said, it could be much, much worse. So good for him that it's not happening. Good for him that, or let me rephrase that. Good for him that he didn't damage his spinal cord, but they're calling it right now. So anyway, I just dropped the link in the description. So if you want to hop on and talk Clemson football, look below the description in this video. You should see a link there. Okay. And it's right below the description. It says studio.restream. And all you have to do is click on it and hop in here and we can talk Clemson football. I will let you know that that this is hopefully everything works tonight, but this software has been acting really, really weird. May have to postpone it. I hope I don't. So anyway, let's talk about the bye week right now while we're waiting on everything to take off, and hopefully you'll be able to join me. Someone will be able to join me here in just a moment. Let's talk about the bye week. I mean, at this point, I just want the season over. So it's kind of like a bye week, just gives you more time to sit there and hope for things that I'm not quite sure is really realistic. It's kind of like that guy who's always trying to ask out a woman that, he's not rich. He's not. Anyway, she's out of his league, and he's just consistently shocked that they say no. And in this scenario, that's how I feel, Clemson. That's kind of how I feel Clemson. And some of the fans are still holding on to some hope. And I'm telling you straight up, I am telling you straight up that there are fans out there who are still believing. They still think that everything is this is just a down season. And I try to stay away from the forums. I try to stay away from forums as a whole. when it comes to sports, because a lot of times it's just really, really whacked out. You're either someone over here that everything is just always bad, even when it's good, or everything is always good, even when it's bad, when it's terrible, when the stadium's on fire. And I made the dumb decision. Did you hear me? I made an extremely dumb decision. This morning I woke up, I got on Instagram, and it was it was a Clemson outlet, and in that Clemson outlet, they made some post, can't remember what it was, and I clicked on the comment section. Folks, it was people, I mean, pouring out their admiration for the team and that everything is going to be okay. Now, if you continued scrolling, you started to see people like you and I who love the team, who actually knows who plays on this football team, by the way. You'd be shocked how many people say they're Clemson football fans and they don't know who plays on this team. They think Trevor Watson was actually a quarterback for Clemson. They might even wonder over here on this channel and somehow, some way, stay here for more than 5 minutes and then all of a sudden realize we're actually serious about Clemson football. We know who plays. We know what is wrong. We know that it's not the transfer portal. You can go get some supplementary players. That's fine. But listen, folks, it's coaching. And we can go granular. A lot of these people that are going, go Clemson. Okay, look, if they're not a serious fan, that's okay. And I don't want to be, anyway, but just to see how many of those were in that comment section made me go, It bothered me. You know why? Because if there's so many people out there who are just celebrating mediocrity. I mean, I hate to say this, but I mean, it just bothers me. That's the best way I can say this. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm having some problems with this software. If you've tried to join and it has not let you through, I am so sorry. It's out of my control. This is a global issue, so it's even affecting me. I'm going to reload this page and I'm going to see what it does. It may cut me off. All right, there I am. You probably lost me for a second. You probably heard my voice, and that's about it. All right. This is not working. So the link to join the call-in show tonight is below this video in the description. You don't have to show yourself on the camera. All you have to do is yes, yes. I just saw. Let me see. I see everyone here. Okay, all right. Now I'm going to add the link here. Okay, in the chat, I just dropped the link. If you want to join me and talk Clemson football, talk college football, click that link in the chat section. If for some reason you can't get in, let me know. All right. And yeah, just keep it family friendly, folks. Please keep it family friendly. I always like to say if my 9-year-old can't sit and watch it, probably not a good thing. Is there's other channels out there that'll let you, hey, they do that thing, but hey, I keep it clean. All right, got Jackson in here, got Jonas, got Jarrett. Good grief, a bunch of you joined. Getting to Jackson. Jackson, how's it going tonight, my man?
Hey, man, can you hear me?
I can hear you and hear you well. Thanks for calling in.
Absolutely. I've been a long time viewer. I've been watching you since your Bobby Durkin days.
May there.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm a Carolina fan, first off. So I love hating on y'all Clemson fans, but I've been telling my family who are Clemson fans since Trevor Lawrence was there that y'all are going to see a drop off when Trevor leaves. I don't know what it was, but I could tell something was going on behind the scenes that just didn't add up.
Yeah.
And watching Clemson and South Carolina both really just do what they're doing this year has been heartbreaking. It's been making me feel better to watch y'all struggle, though, to be quite honest.
I bet. Hey, I watch y'all, and it's a consolation to me. It's like, yeah, we're terrible. They're not looking good either. So maybe the rivalry game will be a lot more fun this year, if that's the word I'm looking for.
It'll be interesting. That's the word that I'd put to it. I have a feeling that neither one of us are going bowling this year, and neither one of us should go bowling this year.
I agree with you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, my apologies. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think that anytime that you award mediocrity, and at this point, I think you and I would probably take mediocre from our teams. I mean, it's just not good. It does not help. It doesn't address the situation. Look at us. When we went to the college football playoff, we had no business there. No business there. And so when things started going south in the first, 3 games of the year, we had people telling us, including Coach Sweeney, basically, hey, we just went to the college football playoff in complete denial that we shouldn't have been there. And it took Syracuse messing up Miami's season for us to go. And we see that did not help us whatsoever. So I agree with you. Neither team should go bowling.
Absolutely. But yeah, you said it. You said it the other night that you knew that the moment that we lost our offensive coordinator from last year, that he was the brain behind this game, and I agree with you. Watching Mike Shula go out and do some of this horrible play calling, and watching our coach Beamer say that we're calling the same plays, even though it's something on the field that isn't adding up, is just ridiculous. For him to suggest that everything's the exact same as last year is ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing that I say about Gamecock football, and I know there's Clemson football fans in here. You're like, we're talking Gamecock football. What are we doing here? No, but both of these teams have a coaching issue, and it's not just these two teams. It's when you, and I'm using Kirk Cignetti a lot. I'm not proclaiming them the greatest team ever. I'm not saying they're going to win a national championship. I'm not saying that, but coaching has changed. Indiana, folks, they're terrible. Well, they were until he got there. And I said this about y'all in the, couple of months ago, the beginning of the season. I said, look, you may even call the same style of ball, but when you make those calls and how you make adjustments and when you make those adjustments are going to be totally different because you're a different human being. And I just did not, Mike Shula's made a ton of money coaching football, made a lot more than anybody probably in this chat or watch this video. The guy comes from a legendary family, but I said Dowell Loggins was the man. Dowell Loggins was the man who was really, did such a really good job. And folks, that's why I always say, be very careful how much you believe in your team so much that it overshadows the coaching on your sidelines, because I mean, Georgia fans they've had to find out, yeah, they're a good football team, but Todd Monken was the brains. He was the brains of that offense that won 2 national championships. And it's just, I mean, it's, you know what I'm saying, man.
Absolutely. I know exactly what you're saying. I think the weirdest thing about this season, though, like not discounting Clemson and Carolina and how they're doing, is watching Vanderbilt succeed and how they have been.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if someone woke up from a coma, and it's, you know, they've been in a coma for like 5 or 6 years, and they wake up, and it's like, who's the top football teams in the country right now? They'd probably be overwhelmed and go back into the coma. And it's just crazy. But Clark Lee's done a really, really good job, you know? And so it just goes back to coaching. It goes back to development. It goes into evaluating players and bringing them in, knowing who not to bring in, working with what you have, and maybe not exactly calling the game plan that you want to call, but you look at your players and you say, hey, I still have skills here, and it's my job to develop them and know how to implement them. And Clark Lee's done that.
Absolutely. He's done an amazing job at doing what he's doing at the program he's at. Vanderbilt historically is not a good football program. It's a terrible football program. So to watch him bring it out from what they were just from 2-3 years ago to now being, I think there's 5-1 or 6-1.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's incredible. If only South Carolina could wake up and maybe do half of what they can do.
Well, I'm telling you this right now: Clark Lee, Kirk Cignetti, guys like them, when they show up on the scene, they make a lot of donors very angry at these other schools, because these other donors have poured tons of money into programs, overpaying coaches left and right, massive buyouts that they've given their coaches no incentive to win, no incentive to fear that their job could be taken and they won't make as much money, you know. And when Clark Lee and Kirk Cignetti, good grief, Frank, what is that? Call him Frank. Kirk Cignetti shows up on the scene, they make people look bad and make them look bad fast. So, well, Jackson, thanks for calling in. I got a few more, 2 or 3 ahead of you, but dude, thanks for hopping on. It's good to talk to you, and don't be a stranger, dude.
All right, man. Thank you. Have a good one.
Take care. All right. It's good to hear from even the Gamecock fans in here. Got Jonas in here. Jonas, how is it going, my man?
Good. How are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well. Thanks for hopping on here and talking.
Yeah, no problem. So, bit about me. I'm from Colorado, so all the way out in the Midwest. But I went to school with Mike Bobo's kid, Drew, who's now the center. So I've been around coaching for a while, just seeing coaching changes left and right at Colorado State and wherever. And then he brought in his kid, Jack Jancic, and I'm friends with his son, Brady. But anywho, just seeing the way the coaching is and just seeing who's on this is just very, very disappointing. And you're one of the only people that truly can see Clemson for what it really is, rather than saying, oh, we'll make a bowl game, we'll do this and that, because all these group chats I'm in are just, well, if Georgia Tech loses 3, if Duke loses 2, then if Louisville loses this one, I'm like, why are we even, if you just would have won, it would have been a lot better. But yeah, it's just annoying at this point, just seeing how many people are still happy about this and nothing's being done.
Yeah, I mean, as I said at the beginning of this video, I made the dumb decision to click in on the comment section of a major Clemson sports page on Instagram. It wasn't like I went to a forum, but I might as well went to a forum. I mean, and just seeing so many people, it's like it's almost like shucks, we're gonna be fine, guys. Y'all are overreacting, and it's like, no, No, you're not. You're not overreacting. In fact, I don't even know if you're really paying attention. But yeah, I mean, it comes down. It's not just Clemson. It's everywhere. It comes down to coaching. We have major jobs open right now, Jonas. Major jobs.
We do.
Florida and Penn State are in play right now. We could be seeing Auburn very soon in play. Florida State, they're going to owe them too much money. I don't think they're going to make a change at Florida State. The money's just too deep. But if someone coughs up taking care of the entire coaching staff and so on, somewhere between $60 and $100 million, we could be seeing Florida State come into play.
Yep.
So Oklahoma State, they're going to have to hire someone out there.
Yeah.
But and I tell you this, I'm going to throw a wrench in things right here. Don't be shocked if Miami starts to fall apart after the other night.
I'm not surprised at all.
So
I kind of expected that one.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just got finished saying the other day when I was predicting that game. By the way, everyone, on my other channel, another college football podcast where I talk about college football as a whole, I'm just not talking Clemson football. I'm talking about all of the teams. I predicted that game and I said, look, I'm going to go with Miami with this one, but this has upset written all over it. And I'm pumping my brakes with Miami because Cristobal has shown he cannot finish his season. And lo and behold, they lost to Brom. So, yeah, there's so many people right now who will latch on to the transfer portal argument. And I'm not saying that going to the transfer portal is bad, but you have to start with coaching.
Yep.
Start with the foundation of the house before you figure out what color you're going to paint the living room.
Yep. And then one of the things that I'm reading right now that I just went on the Clemson Insider, we signed Garrett Riley to a 1-year extension through the 26-27 season. So he will be here next year. So
really, I'm looking this up as we speak.
As of January 14th, he's making $2 million for 25-26 and then 2.1 for the 26-27, including bonus and incentives. And then I see old people saying, well, fire him. Well, you can fire him. You can get that guy from UCLA who I think he's an amazing play caller from what I've seen so far and what he's been able to do with the amount of talent he's had. But just seeing that we have Garrett Riley for 1 more year and everybody's calling for him, well, if you want him gone, you'll have to fire him at this point. I mean, you extended him last year after a semi-successful season after they shouldn't have played Texas. They shouldn't have even made the ACC championship last year.
Yeah.
Just by pure luck. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I remember when Clemson made it into the big games and won the big games on merit. And that's just not the case. I look at I just look at other football teams and I think back, Jonas, on other football teams who were very successful. Sure, they had the players, but they also had the coaching, or they had enough of the pieces in place to where maybe not every coaching position was just brilliant, but overall they had a good infrastructure.
Yeah.
And the players. And I don't know. I don't know where else to go with this. So, it's sad.
The only thing we can wish can happen is this Dabo wakes up one morning and says, hey, let's go win again. I mean, that's all it really is at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really is up to him. And I don't expect him, if he were going to make changes, I don't expect him to make changes right now. I'm going to be, and he's not going to walk. He's not going to walk up to a mic either and throw his team, his staff under the bus. He's not going to do that.
No.
What gives me a knot in my stomach is I just have a hard time believing he's going to make any significant changes. And I hope he proves me wrong, but I just don't see that happening.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I gotta say for this. But it was
All
good
right.
talking to you, Brian.
Dude, thanks for hopping on here. Always good hearing from everybody in here. Good to hear from you. Don't be a stranger. Come back.
No problem.
And yeah, man. Catch you in the comment section soon.
We'll do.
Later. Later. I got Gavin coming in here in just a second. Hey, everybody, let's just keep it family friendly. Everybody's did good so far. They've done really, really good so far. I got Gavin coming up here. Hey, Gavin, thanks for joining the show. How's it going this evening?
It's going good. Can you hear me?
I sure can. I can hear you very well. Thanks for hopping in here.
So I've been a viewer for probably a little over a year on your channel, and I didn't grow up a Clemson fan. Matter of fact, I've been a Clemson fan since 2009. I live in Alabama. Grew up
Oh,
a
wow.
Alabama fan. Graduate of Hueytown High School, where Jameis Winston was, and Roydell
Wow.
Williams. So
Goodness.
I've been a Clemson fan for a little while, but I was going to tell you my first game, Clemson game I went to was this year at Georgia Tech. Um, and I got to meet Clemson fans and everything, and they were great, and it was a really neat experience. But from what I've seen at that game, seeing it in person is, I mean, the team looked like they just didn't have any kind of energy about them.
Mm.
I mean, you look at a Georgia Tech team, and I mean, I know it's home field advantage. You know, maybe you say that, they're playing at home, Georgia Tech is. But Clemson comes in that game with no kind of energy. Seemed like to me, the energy was lacking. And just like nobody really cared except for some of the ones like Tristan Smith or people like
Mm.
Will Helt, some of those we talked about that are transfers that want to play. And so anyway, but that's mostly what I was just gonna say. What really anything important, but I thought that was just my kind of view and thoughts on things going back to the Georgia Tech game.
I think that's very important, actually. And welcome to the Clemson fold. I'm glad you got to see a game. If you see a game in person, folks, because if you're watching on TV, I watch a lot of games on TV. I went to the Troy game. Yeah, I was at the Troy game. And I was shocked at how flat they were. Very few people were excited. And the people you named out were the ones who were excited. Will
Yeah.
Helt, Tristan Smith, Jaheim Lawson. Jaheim Lawson's had a really good season, folks, and he's energetic. He's getting sacks. He's getting tackles. He's putting the pressure on a quarterback. But you are right. And to me, that is extremely important. Who sets the tone for the team? Coaches.
Yeah.
Also, you set the tone for the team by creating a scheme. Folks, y'all are going to wet your drawers when you hear this. With a scheme they're excited about.
Yeah.
And so I think what you have to say is actually very telling that it is just flat on those sidelines. And it's sad. It's sad. I remember going to Clemson games during the, the Trevor Lawrence years. That sideline was like a party. And when I went there, at the Troy game, it looked like a morgue. Like everyone just found out their favorite person is with us no more. That was the Clemson sidelines. The coaches even looked flat. And so, that's very important to me. It's quite the tale.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, like where I live in Alabama, I'm surrounded around a lot of Alabama fans, especially
Yeah.
like going to church and that kind of stuff. And one of the things they're always tell me, and something you've been talking about, and that's why I enjoy listening to you because you're real about it, and you're also listening to what other people say other than just Clemson fans.
Yeah.
But like one of the things people say is like, well, he don't use transfer portal, and like, and I'm like, well, he does, but I want you to consider the talent that he supposedly has on the team, like Cade Klubnik, others like T.J. Parker, some of the others that he has got, from these recruiting classes that are like highly touted guys,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, they're really good guys, top in their class, but then what are they doing? And like you said, it just goes back to coaching. And I agree 100%. I don't, it's like he's been making. It seems like Dabo's been making changes. You say making changes. He might go and get a different coordinator, or he might go get a different coach for this position, but there's just he's just not making the major change. And I don't know, let me ask you this: what is that change, some of those changes as far as coaches that you might think needs to happen? I knew, like, Matt Luke, he got Matt Luke, a
Yeah.
few years ago, offensive line coach, and you got Chris Rumpf and some of them. But where does the change within the program as far as coaches start, your opinion?
I know that a lot of people are dumping on Tom Allen. Tom Allen just got here. He took over a
Yeah.
mess.
Yeah.
But and then of course Matt Luke, I talked about him. Tom Allen's been successful pretty much everywhere that he's went. Matt Luke, the same deal. What is interesting is their stain on their legacy is Clemson right now.
Yeah.
So before Clemson fans starts ripping into those two, they need to step back and look and go, oh, the only times they've done pretty much bad is at Clemson. Yeah, it's not the coach. It's not them. It's I think that we have too many. They've inherited a mess because of, well, there was inexperienced coaches coaching before them, and they've inherited a mess. They've inherited their development. They've inherited the poor culture that's at Clemson right now. The reason they're flat on the sideline. One of the reasons that we get into a game and our coaches cannot coach a complete game. So to answer your question, except for them at the position level and maybe even at the coordinator level, you have to replace the entire team. And I've made this statement. Some people said, well, hey, normally the head coach makes that call. Folks, you can go change your defensive coordinator, but if you're not going to make changes at your position level, you just have a new fall guy. That's it. And we're seeing that. So, I would if I were Dabo, I'd get together with Tom Allen and I say, look, yeah, I know I can hire the position coaches. I've done that, and we're not in a good place. Who do you think I need to bring in for linebackers coach? Who do you think I need to bring in for defensive ends and defensive tackles? Who do you think I need to bring in for safeties? Who do you think I need to bring in for our DBs? And the same thing needs to happen on the offensive side of the football. Whoever's going to be our offensive coordinator, who do we need to bring in to be a wide receiver coach, a running backs coach, a tight ends coach, a dedicated quarterback coach? Folks, we have now went through 3 quarterbacks, 3 different states, 3 different time frames with DJ, Cade, and now Christopher Vizina. Vizina did not look bad, but he didn't look amazing. And plus, that defensive, from what I understand, their secondary, SMU secondary, is not very good. Like I think they rank pretty low. But he still looks like he's not ready at times. He still looks scared. He's not playing, Georgia. He's not playing Ohio State. So it's a development issue. So to answer your question as specific as I possibly can without ranting for 45 minutes, he's going to have to overhaul the coaching staff. I mean, this firing a guy once per year is not going to work. And I hate to. I'm not calling for anyone to be fired. I hate to do that. I don't like to do that. But this coaching staff has to be overhauled, and they have to be replaced with people who are experts in their field. So
Yeah,
that's what I think.
I agree. I appreciate you taking my call. Say this one more thing, and then I'll go. But I remember we played Duke. We lost a couple years ago to Duke, and you remember the preseason hype, to this team that was coming in. Cade Klubnik's our guy. DJ had moved on. Cade's our guy. And then we seen how underwhelming the defense was, how slow they were. And as a fan, I just get tired of smoke being blown up my rear end.
Yeah.
It's just hearing it day in and day out, a couple plays away, this or that, and it's just pulling wool over our eyes at the end of the day. So
yeah, hey, don't blame you. I get it. And I think this season has turned a lot more people into pessimists and just show me. We'll get all excited once you're winning big games and you're consistently winning. You go play Georgia, you can beat Georgia instead of acting like, oh, we lost, but we played a good game. That's not a championship mentality. But anyway, Gavin, thanks for hopping on here. Don't be a stranger, dude.
Appreciate it.
Take care. All right, everybody. About to go to the next one. Taco Gaming 75 is up next. And got Brandon in after him. If you want to join the call-in show, I'm going to drop this link right here in the live chat. Folks, here's the deal. There's a bunch of you in here. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you doing that. So I want you to hop on here. You don't have to turn the camera on. You can keep it off. But yeah, I dropped that link there. Let's continue to encourage you. Keep it family friendly. Let's try to stay, even if you disagree with me, let's stay civil and try to keep it family friendly. Hope you'll subscribe. If you're watching the channel, hey, look, I'm an independent. I get to say what I want to say. I know that's shocking. So if you like that sort of thing, I hope you'll subscribe. That's free. Hit the thumbs up. That's free. And pass it along to your friends and so on your forums, on Facebook, your buddies at work. Do that. I really do appreciate it. And last but not least, check out my channel, Another College Football Podcast, where I talk about all of college football. And I'm going to tell you this, looking at other football teams and diving into them and understanding who they are. And then you turn around and you look at Clemson, it makes Clemson look even worse. I'm just being honest. So, all right, next up, Taco Gaming 75, long time viewers. Good to see you in here. How's it going?
Good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Sweet. Yeah, so a little bit about me. Just turned 29 back in August, and I've been a good old Tiger fan since I was about 9 years old. Didn't really pay too much attention to football before that, but what really sparked my interest was going to my first game when I was 8 or 9. And I believe it was when we played Central Michigan, and we still had the old moniker Thunder and Lightning with James Davis and CJ Spiller, and just a really fun atmosphere. So that really was what sparked my interest in football, and then led to me playing football in high school. And my offensive line coach is actually a Gamecock, James
Really?
Thompson. He was a part of the team where they had the brawl on the field. He was actually part of that team. And so me being a former offensive lineman, I really pay attention to the line when they're playing and whatnot. And I'd tell you the biggest thing is they're soft. And what my offensive line coach would always say is they need to get in the weight room, because I don't know what it is, but they just look like they're on skates the entire time. And I don't know if it's something with the strength and conditioning, their footwork. I don't know. But man, they're getting blown off the ball. And the only time we're blowing other guys off the ball is against North Carolina and lesser competition. So, but I've got a weird epiphany thing that came to me the other day. I doubt that it's what's going on, but what if they're purposefully losing these games to devalue themselves so that they can try to get out of their ACC contract? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I will entertain ideas like that more than other people, because history, just world history, proves us some really whacked out things that have went on to do this and do that, and get things done. And people are going, that's crazy, until you find out, just wait 5 years. And then it's like, oh, that did happen. In this scenario, I don't see that happening. I think what happened was we had those unbelievably successful seasons.
Right.
We had some good coaches there. We had guys who had coached for a very long time. And then we had a few, guys like Jeff Scott and Elliott that together they were incredible. But with that said, and they were newer coaches. They had never coached at that level before, but they had Brent Venables around them, and they'd spent a lot of time with Chad Morris, and there was guys like Robbie Caldwell, who had coached for years, Dan Brooks, that was on the coaching staff and during the first national championship in the Dabo era. There was some good things there, but you also had Watson you did have Lawrence, and even Kelly Bryant was, maybe he was not the passer that they were, but he was a really good athlete.
Right.
I think there's a combination of things that has happened since then, but I think where they really fell apart is when those coaches started to retire or take jobs elsewhere. What we saw was Coach Sweeney gave guys a chance. And it's a lot. I've said this. A lot of people think that I'm just always critical of Coach Sweeney. I don't believe he was sitting at home and looked at his wife and went, I'm going to burn this thing down. No, I think what he did was, hey, you know what? Terry Don Phillips saw something in me, and I was just a wide receivers coach. And now I've had this success. I'm going to return the favor. And he did it, but he did it at wholesale. He had an entire coaching staff who had never coached at this level, basically, except for a few. You cannot give someone something that you don't have. Meaning, if you don't know how to develop a player, even though you may have been a really good player, or maybe you played in the NFL, or maybe you've coached high school at a high level, but you've never coached at this level, it's hard to give someone something that you don't have. It's difficult to take someone somewhere you've never been. And I know those statements are really cheesy, but they are really true. And that's what's happened to this team, in my opinion. And even in the last few years that Lawrence was there, Lawrence, Higgins, ETN, those guys covered up as you started to see some of these coaches start to cycle in, these newbies, they covered up a multitude of sins until you played Ohio State, who could outcoach you, until you played LSU, who can outcoach you. And so it's just, I mean, especially that last playoff where they got the crap beat out of them by Ohio State, you started to see it. So that's what I'm thinking it is. And I'll tell you, landing guys like Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson did help, but you still had coaching for the most part.
Right. Yeah, he kind of turned into Oprah Winfrey there. You get a coaching position, you get a coaching position, and
Yeah.
but yeah, I definitely think I agree with you that the coaching staff needs a major overhaul.
Yeah.
I think definitely if we don't make the bowl game this year, he needs to, like, before season's done. Like, if we go into Carolina and it's not even going to be a bowl game winning for us, it's like, hey, you're done, start
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, I mean, he has fired people in the past, but it's now at a place where you have to ask who you're more loyal to, your coaching staff, or to this is tough, or to Clemson. There we go. That's it. Well, Taco Gaming, thanks for calling in, man. Thanks for supporting the channel. I see you in here all the time, man. Don't be a stranger. And I know you won't, because you're on all of my videos. So I appreciate your comments, dude. It's good to talk to you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. I got Brendan coming up. Everybody, bunch of people is hopping on. A lot of you hanging out here. It's a Monday night. Let me see. I like this question. Brian, why you keep skipping over the fact Clemson had great players then? Oh, they had Trevor Lawrence. They had Deshaun Watson. They had Mike Williams. They had T. Higgins. That's some really, really good players. I agree with that. But they also had the guys who could scheme. They also had the guys who were challenging them and making them better, because Mike Williams was a solid recruit coming out of high school, but it wasn't like he was the number one recruit in it coming out of high school. But they challenged him and they grew him. And so I agree with you. They had some really good players then, but there's a lot of people not seeing the development. They're not seeing the development of these players now. And I still go against the grain when a lot of people think, hey, we just don't have the players. Maybe they were not developed into being the players. There are coaches out there who knows how to pick players and develop them. That's it, man. That's it. All right, getting in here to Brendan. And just to remind everyone, let's keep it family friendly. Even if you disagree with me, let's just keep it simple, civil. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to. You don't have to. I don't agree with me half the time. I'm like, I was just thinking about that and not sure if I feel good about it. Brendan, thanks for hanging on, man. How goes it?
I can't complain. How are you?
I'm doing really well, dude.
Can you
Thanks for
just to make sure, because I remember I think watching a stream a couple weeks ago, and there was this guy with a TV volume in the background. So I don't want to be that guy. Can you hear me well? Can you see me? Everything's good. Just want to make sure.
I
Get it
hear
out the
you.
way.
I hear you very well. There's no background noise, so I do
Nothing.
appreciate
We're
that.
good. All right.
We are
I want to
good.
get that out the way, just to make sure,
Thank
because
you.
if I watch this back and I'm like, oh my god, I had something playing in the background, he didn't tell me.
Yeah. If Lady Gaga is playing in background, I'm gonna say something. Okay.
All right. Well.
Go for it, man.
Just again, I don't want to be this guy, but I just want to just say real quick, I've been watching channel for a few years now. I'd like to think of myself as more of your young base, I guess.
Awesome.
I'm 17, so I guess you got some young viewers. Hopefully, maybe I'm a part of that. So I've been watching you since, say, I started watching you the summer before we played Georgia in 2024 and got our butts kicked. But I started watching you then, and so I've enjoyed the channel, and it's the only thing getting me through this season. So I mean, it's been rough, but I wanted to start to say that I love your take on the coaching issues, because it's becoming more obvious. I would hope, I know some homers, and I argue with them a lot, and I've been called some things. But I'm like think of myself more as a realist. I love my team, but when they suck and there are problems, and I call it out, and so that's hence why I love your channel. But
Well, thanks,
um,
dude.
with the coaching issues, what aggravates me is that I watch, Dabo's press conference. He's speaking for 20, 30, 40 minutes and just constantly talking about, woulda, coulda, what could have happened. We were a few plays, we're here, there, and he keeps talking. And then he talks about his previous success, and he does this. And what he's not talking about, as you mentioned, is the fact that his offensive coordinator has a playbook and makes calls that are not only predictable, not only the defense knows it's coming, even people in the crowd knows it's coming. Everybody
Yeah.
knows it's a run up the middle. You know,
Right.
You threw first down. What's happening on 2nd and 10 or second? It's a run up the middle.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's not only that the O line's bad, because it's bad. I like the addition of Matt Luke. I just think, and I'll get to that later in a minute. With Matt Luke and who I think should stay and shouldn't stay as far as overhaul, but um staying on the subject of Dabo and what I'm frustrated with, he's not calling. I feel like as a coach, he's never been that guy that throws his players or coaches under the bus. He'll kind of maybe say a little bit. He'll hint at it, but hey, this guy should have done this. As coaches, we got to do better. But it's never holding people truly accountable, in my opinion, which is that his coaching staff is not only letting players regress. Peter Woods and TJ Parker have underperformed greatly, among other players like Wood. As Sammy Brown has been hit or miss, and then players on offense, especially like Cade, underperforming, the O line regressing. What frustrates me is that, in my opinion, I think that there's a lot of talent on this roster. Now, granted, is it Georgia talent? Is it Alabama talent? I don't think so. But is it that far off? No, I don't think it is. And again, what makes me angry is that, we see the same thing every year, which is that, hey, we don't have the players.
Yeah.
We don't have the players. Well, now you got the players. You have the receivers. You have experience. You have you have an experienced O line. You have a 4th-year QB. You have an experienced defense with multiple projected NFL picks. If you can't make it work, how are you going to make it work next year when those guys are leaving? How are you going to make it work the year after? You know what I mean? And so that's my point, is that Dabo, I get he has an ego, and he kind of has a right to have one. I mean, he reached the mountaintop, not once, but twice. And, he has a right to be, like, hey, I've done this, I've done that, of course. But when it comes to, the here and now, we're not in 2018. Players can make money now. Things are different, there's basically free agency. Coaches are signing, are making their own deals where they have these buyouts and huge extensions. Things are different. And so that's my point with Dabo, is that he frustrates me so much because he's not only ignorant, but he's just unwilling to, I think, call people out. And again, I think that, and I'll get this in just a second, but when you have those press conferences, people are laughing. Not only the fans that look and go, what is happening, but other teams' coaches like Brent Key. He has, like, what is it, 5, maybe 7-minute press conferences, and then he's back in business.
Mhm.
Other coaches are looking at that and going, man, he's rambling about 30 minutes, about his previous success or what could have happened. He's not talking about what he's going to do about the mediocre play calling, about the defense that can't get a stop, about the questionable calls on 4th and 2 where you run with 3 linemen instead of putting Keith Adams Jr. back there. It. I don't know why they're
I,
not playing him.
I, I,
He's the only one that runs with a passion. I mean,
Brendan, you have said so many things that are. A, I know you watch the channel just by what you said, and B, I mean it's true. If you, good grief, you've got me all fired up over here, and I have one mouth and
I didn't mean to
60
talk
things
so
to
much. I
say.
just kind of was just unloading.
No,
It was all
no,
just, it was all just
no,
coming out.
no. I was. Someone just said this kid is sharp, speaking the truth. Yeah, I mean that's
Well, that's the
true,
first
dude.
person to ever tell me that, so I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Well, I'm going to tell you this: when you're right, people hate it, and you're talking about running into the homers. There's different categories of homers. There's homers who really don't know football. They wear a Clemson shirt. I always make up this, the straw man of a grandma on Saturdays wearing a Clemson shirt, walking through Hobby Lobby. She has no clue who plays.
Yep.
That's real, by the way. But there's
I know
also
that.
guys.
I
There's
know
guys
that.
like that,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
There's guys like that, and you know that. Oh, you're just gonna pull for our team. It's like, bro, you
Mhm.
don't know who's on the team. You don't even Dabo, and that's
Name
only
me the
because he's been
quarterback.
around for. Yeah.
Who's the running
They
back
got
this year? Yep.
they have no clue. And then there's other people who I don't know if someone got in their head that if you ever critique something or if you make a good point,
I'm not gonna
I don't.
name him, but I've had
Oh
some
yeah.
conversations where, even with a friend, where he's just like, "You're always so negative." Like, for example, now this is basketball. Before Clemson played SMU in the ACC tournament in basketball, I mean, we talk about football a lot, but he was like, "Hey, how are they gonna do tonight?" I was going to that game. I said, "You know what?" I said, "We'll probably go there and we'll lose." I said, "Because that's what normally happens." I said, "I love my Tigers in football and basketball." I said, "But I said, we suck in the ACC tournament." He's like, "You're always so negative, even about football." And I'm like, "I'm just being realistic."
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I said, "I'm praying that I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. You don't think I want us to blow SMU out by 20 and me just sit there and be like, well, I was wrong. Whoop-de-doo." I'm not going to hold on to that. I'm going to be like, I was wrong. Yeah, start jumping up and celebrating.
Yeah.
Turned out we played one of the ugliest games basketball
Yeah.
teams to play, and they barely won by 3. But anyway,
The key there, you're 17. I have a 19-year-old, and I was
okay.
doing the math as you were talking just a second ago. You're talking about 2018 when they won the national championship. So
I
you
don't
were
remember much, but a little bit.
yeah, you were 10. You were 10. Folks, get that through your head. I was warning you just a few years ago. Hey, you better correct this or you're going to blink. And all of a sudden a bunch of years is going to go by.
That's
And
what my dad used to say. He looked at me because I started, so I would say I was more of just a kid who watched the first half in 2016, 17, and 18. We'd be winning by 30 or 40. I'd get bored. I'd go play with some toys. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And then
As you
around
should have been.
2021, I started, paying more attention because I was older. I started reading a lot of the articles and stuff, getting into it. And then once we started kind of going downhill, my dad just said, "Hey," he was like, you gotta enjoy it, while it lasts." He said, "It don't last forever," and I learned that the hard way. Cause dang. But as so, again, like I said with Dabo, you can't, especially someone that age, where he's mid 50, maybe late 50s. You can't change who a person is. Most of the time, that person at that stage in life, they're not going to change who they are. And maybe he'll fire people, maybe he won't, but I just want him to at least be honest and say, you know what? We got to make a lot of changes. Guys aren't doing what they're supposed to do. I haven't done what I'm supposed to do as a coach, and I made some mistakes. And we aren't where we want to be at right now, and I accept that, and I'm gonna do the best. I'm gonna try and do what I can to fix that, and I would
Yeah.
accept that and be like, you know what, we lose the next 3 games after he says that, I'm okay. But to sit here and say again and again that no, 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 it's this and this and this, it's
Yeah.
external, it's not internal, it's not what we're doing, it's just, this team's just a good team, and we're just not doing what we're supposed to be doing. I don't want to hear that anymore. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. But real quick, I don't want to hold you up and keep
No.
talking, but it's I want to move on to the coaching aspect of it. Move on from Dabo, go into the position coaches, and who because you've done a great job in the live stream talking about other things. I just wanted to kind of get into what we think should be the changes. I'd like to talk about that and get kind of pick your brain a little bit. But so as far as coaches go, who you think should stay and shouldn't? In my opinion, I'll ask for your input. I just want to get mine off my chest. For me, I feel comfortable with potentially firing most of everybody position coaches except for Matt Lute because he's about to bring in a heck of a recruiting class. We got to give him time, let him bring his guys in. And Tom Allen, he just got here. I can't judge him. Like you said, I think the call before, Tom Allen, he hasn't even brought his guys in. He hasn't even unpacked his boxes. He's fresh.
Yeah.
It's not really fair to judge him so far. But what do you think is necessary as far as changes? Again, in my opinion, I think Garrett Riley. I don't want people fired, but
Okay. And that's the thing too. I absolutely hate that because there are a lot of guys on this coaching staff that I think could probably be a good coach, and them being at Clemson right now too soon in their coaching career is actually to their detriment. Okay. You get put in the driver's seat of the race car too soon and you're not ready to handle it, you're going to wreck the car, and that's going to put a bad taste in people's mouth for you. Yeah. So I'm not saying some of these guys could never be really good coaches, but the mass changes that needs to be made. I agree with you exactly. Luke,
I like that what you just said because my friend, when I was sophomore year, his uncle, who he knew really well, he knew Dabo and them. His uncle was oh my god, uh, Thomas or something Austin. It was the former
Thomas
O-line coach.
Austin. Yep.
Yeah. His uncle was Thomas Austin, and he was around Clemson a lot, my friend, and I had to let him know he was fired. He didn't know.
Oh no, that's bad.
And I hope he's not watching any of them.
Yeah.
I came up to him. I was like, "Did you hear what happened?" He's like, "What?" And I showed him the ESPN alert, and he was like, "Oh my God, my family's going to explode." I remember what he was telling me. It was crazy. He was like, "Yeah," he said, "he'll probably get a job somewhere else." But he was basically talking about him bouncing back, maybe going to another program, getting some experience, and then we'll see
Yeah.
from there. So I like what you said. I think
Yeah.
coaches just needed, like you said many times in your channel, need to develop because in this case, it's not. I want to say it's nepotism because it's not your family, but you're promoting people from within instead of bringing people
Yeah.
from outside. So, but again, players like Andrew Makuba, he felt like he
Yeah.
wasn't getting developed. He went to Texas. Now he's playing for the Eagles, getting an
Yeah.
interception the other day. Players like Bo Collins, who a lot of people forget, he felt like he wasn't really getting what he needed to at Clemson. He goes to Notre Dame. I think he was their leading receiver. Now he's in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just two off the top of my head that I think of that go, dang, if we had the coaching staff to develop those guys, they would have stayed. Now they're in the NFL, and meanwhile, we got guys who are still on the team right now who are regressing. So
yeah. Brendan, before I let you go, first, thanks for calling in. I'm glad you're here.
No problem. I didn't mean to
You
talk
some
as
really
long
good.
as I did. I
No,
was meaning to get off quick, but I'm
no,
sorry.
buddy.
I plan to call
No
more and talk to you
apologies.
more. This is kind of my first time. I was just like, I was watching the Lions game because I'm playing my brother in fantasy, and I'm watching that, and then I see the alert, and I'm just like, oh, Brian's on. I'm like, I'll watch this, and then I saw the link in the chat, and I'm just like, well, might as well. First time for everything. But
I appreciate you being in here. And KD Jones and Clemson, I'm getting to you here in just a second.
I'm sorry,
Brendan,
Jones.
Brendan. I'm gonna give you a piece of advice here, and then I'm gonna let you go. As I said, I have a son that's just a few years older than you, and I have a son that's well known. One of the easiest way, and this is just not in football, this is in life. Looking at history and allowing that to influence your instinct is one of the smartest things you can ever do, whether it's in football, whether it's in finances, whether it's in whatever. So I remember in the Bible, Jesus looked to the Pharisees and he said, hey, I mean, y'all can look at the rain clouds and know that it's going to rain, but you can't tell that I am who I am based off of all those things that was written about me. And so the thing that I'll share with you, and I'll share with anyone else who will listen to me, the reason I look at certain things and I call it the way I do, especially with Clemson, but with football teams as a whole, is because I pay attention to history. You see a team playing a really, really good football team, and it's like, whoa, they're supposed to lose this ball game, but they're sticking around, and they're sticking around to even take the lead. But for some reason, they can't get the ball in the end zone a couple of drives. I'll look at my son and I'll go, they're losing this game.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll go, it's like, when he was younger, you could tell he's like, how do you know that? Just watch. They're stalling. And it's happened over and over. With Clemson football, with life, with whatever. That's just it, man. I mean, looking at history and not thumbing your nose to it, you'll be able to predict a lot. Brendan, thanks for joining me, buddy.
Thank you for having me on. I enjoyed talking, and I hope you have a good night. I just want to say one more thing. For everyone watching, if you're sitting here and you're not subscribed and you're watching this, I don't know what you're doing. I mean, you're just you might as well just stop watching, because if you're not, I mean, look, it's just one button. Just click it. Come on, click it, everybody, please. This man is awesome. I love his channel. Help him out. Subscribe. Show some love. Thank you for having me on, and you have a good night.
Yeah, you too, buddy. That's very kind of you. That's a good kid. Smart kid. You notice he didn't lose his mind when he was talking about everything. He was very controlled. Did you see that? He was specific. I like it. KD Jones. KD, you've been waiting a long time, man.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, man. I tell you this: if you're having a hard time with your signal, you can turn off the camera and it'll make it a little easier for you. But just in case you can't hear me, but I'm good. How's it going, dude? Thanks for holding on for a while.
Oh, yeah, it's going good, Bubba. Outside of watching us disappoint this year, we're pretty much everything's good. It's kind of freezing up now. Hold on. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you great, dude.
Okay. How do you feel about the 4-2-5? That's my main question.
I like it. I like it. I'm more of a 4-3 man myself.
See, if I feel like if we were in the 4-3 a lot this year, and last year specifically, we don't get gassed as much as we do, or we have been. I just feel like we need either 4 linebackers or 4 D linemen on the field at all times.
Yeah. Yeah. I would tell you this, I like 4-2-5 way better than I like 3-3-5.
Oh, yes, that's
yeah. That's a mess. Our defensive scheme right now, and I'm again, KD, I go back to history. Tom Allen's done well everywhere pretty much he's been until
but he
now.
doesn't have his people. That was a red flag for me when I was like, yeah, but what's gonna change?
Yeah.
I was excited about Garrett Riley. Then after year 1, I'm like, who did he bring with him? I got looking. Yeah, nobody. Okay. Why are you hiring people and not letting them bring at least 1 or 2 people with them? Wes Goodwin, when Brent left, how many people did he take? 3, 4,
Oh,
5?
he took a yeah. And a lot of people
go ahead, sir.
What I was going to say here is that a lot of people would rebut you and go, well, he's the head coach, and the head coach, of course, is going to bring that. I get that, but I agree with you.
He took a lot of people there.
Yeah.
You kind of in-house refield in-house, which I'm okay with that. Certain people, yes. Like Ben Boulware, I'm cool with him. I'm cool with CJ. A lot of people don't like what CJ is doing, but I'm okay with that. We're not running the ball. His guys are not getting chances. What can he really do? He can't call plays. He's not the OC. All he can say is, yeah, we need to run the ball. Garrett's gonna call a screen to Tristan Smith. I don't get it sometimes. Like the 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 the other day when we put the heavy package on the field, I just stopped. It's at that moment in the game I stopped drinking. I was like, they're not serious. I don't believe what I'm seeing. Like, I gotta stop drinking and get sober for a second to realize, are we really doing this right now? Is this really how this is about to play out?
No. Yeah. I will tell you this, dude. It's just not a Clemson problem. This is a coaching problem on 3rd down and 1, 3rd down and goal at the 1 yard line, half a yard. We have guys, and I know they're Gamecocks, but I mean our game plan. We can't trash talk about anything.
That's another thing. I troll them a lot, but Florida State, I normally troll. I haven't literally tried to say the bare minimum this year because we still have to line up and play. After the Troy game, that lightning delay, I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be a long year. And I tried to tell a couple family members, oh, you're being negative.
Yeah.
Okay, you can be the ones get your hopes up. I know we're probably not going far this year.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Watching South Carolina the other day, they got the ball down to the half-yard line. And they have one of the biggest, toughest quarterbacks in all of college football. And they go into some hybrid-looking Nevada package. And I looked at my son, who is a Gamecock, by the way, and I said, what are they doing? But I'm telling you, this is rampant in college football. You will see this stuff everywhere. You're going to see it at big schools. You're going to see it at small schools. And the problem is these guys, they get too heady. When they get down, when they get to 3rd and 1, they try this, they try that. When most of the times, all you have to do is snap the ball, hand it off.
I'm not saying I don't exactly like the tush push, but a quarterback sneak will still get the job done. It should get you 2 yards every time. If your O-line cannot get you 2 yards within 3 plays, you're not a good football team. You're just simply not.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. That it's a rampant problem at Clemson. It's a rampant problem in college football. And when you see coach certain play calls that doesn't make sense, I'm just telling you, that's a major red flag when you see them consistently. And so we know that the ball is going to get snapped and thrown out into thrown out into the flats to a 6'5" wide receiver
for no reason. Like, just
for
throw him a
no
jump ball.
throw him a jump ball. And we saw what happened when they threw him a jump ball. First time this season. What'd he do?
Literally 4th and 20, just to throw it up type ish. And
He
hey,
got
it
it.
worked. Let's try that again, because maybe that's why we brought him here.
Yeah.
But I understand, like, we haven't run a lot of offensive plays this year. But that's kind of our fault, because our game plan 90% of the time, how I see it, is we're play to not lose or score 30 points, because we're undefeated with Garrett when we score 30 plus points. Playing to not lose, get your ass whooped every time. It does. Mike Norvell at Stanford, they played to not lose all 4 quarters, and what happened in the end? It's just you're never going to be successful that way. No. Dictate the game, like throw the first punch. I'm tired of specifically, like, when we get the ball first, we might move it a little bit, but we stall out by midfield, punt it. Okay, decent drive, whatever. Then we go 3 or 4 drives and just look like we're incompetent.
Yeah,
we can't run, can't block. Lord help if we got a guard or a center, a tackle pulling. So we're gonna run into each other. Basically, 13 defenders on the field. You're gonna blow your own play up. I've seen, and like that's been happening since before Matt Luke was there, and like it's just getting funnier and funnier every time I see it. Like, yep, I guess they practice this at this point. Like, I guess they're so great at practice. I guess this is why. Let's tackle each other first. Maybe that'll open up a hole.
Guys, let's do a pancake to each other.
Yes.
I know what you're talking about, man. This is just it makes me shake my head. But I'll tell you this, if you watch other college football teams, by the way, folks, this is where I'm going to selflessly plug the other channel, another college football podcast, where I talk about other college football teams. I'm going to tell you, you're going to see 2 things. You're going to see teams who are doing the same thing like I just talked about just a second ago, and they all have inconsistent games. They lose games they shouldn't. They come away with nothing, and they're inside the 5-yard line. But then there's other teams that they are consistently calling good plays. They consistently make the obvious call, but it's the obvious call that works. They're consistently challenging the defense. Their defense is consistently pressuring and baiting the quarterback of the opposing team. So if you're getting a sack, or you're getting a throwaway, or you're rushing the play to where the wide receivers can't go through their progression and the ball ends up in the ground and now they're punting. You see those teams, and when you see those teams making those decisions, normally those are the top teams in the country. And we just don't see that at Clemson anymore.
Yeah, and it's shocking how fast it happens. But when I was 16, we went to Arizona and won. It was the first one in Arizona, right?
I want to say it was. Yeah.
And that might have been 2015 when they beat us because of fucking freaking that tight end or whatever his name was, OJ something.
Yeah. I think it was it OJ McDuffie? OJ, I can't remember what OJ Howard. Yeah, I want to say McDuffie, and I was like, that's not it.
Yeah, we couldn't cover him. But I was 16 when we won our first one, and I was 18 in 2018. So I pretty much watched every snap back then, and now I feel like we have the guys. It's just really just reverts back to coaching. Like, okay, who's in their ear every day? Do we got the right guy in their ear? I love Tyler Grisham to death for what he did for the school, but is he the right voice? Is he? I'm okay with the recruiting aspect. Like, yeah, he's bringing in guys, but you got to look at what Bo Collins and Joe Ngata and EJ Williams. He's having a pretty good year this year, but I think that there was something else with that situation also. So I really don't know if that was specifically playing time.
Well, I think that I think what you just named out is I think what you just named out is what makes me look at Grisham and go, is we have went through so many wide receivers up until last year. You had the one off of like Antonio Williams, but
Yes.
Bo Collins started playing questionable in 2023, leaves, goes to Notre Dame, played pretty doggone solid, ends up in the national championship. But Ngata, Williams had an incredible freshman year with with Clemson, and then he fell off. That when I see players falling off and it's over a span of time and really nothing has changed at coaching, I mean, folks,
It might just
yeah,
Well, I look
yeah,
at it. I look at
yeah,
EJ Williams. I do think he had like an 89-yard game the other day to make his stats look decent.
yeah.
But overall, like, yeah, it was probably best for him to move on.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at his career stats right now. He's been in college football since 2020. Okay. He's been in college football, since 2020. In his freshman year, he had 24 receptions, 306 yards, 2 touchdowns. The next year, 9 receptions, 66 yards. The next year, 7 receptions, 70 yards. In his first year at Indiana, 23 receptions, 281. Last year, he only had 2 receptions for 49 yards. This year, 19 receptions for 212 yards and 3 touchdowns. So they're using him. But that guy was a big recruit coming out of Phoenix City, Alabama. 6'4", 203 pounds. But, it is what it is, my man.
Yes, sir. What else was I about to say? What do you think about the linebacker snaps so far this year in that rotation?
I would like to see Jeremiah Alexander on the field more. Right now we're at a place where we need excitement on the field.
Yeah.
And there's guys that we can call out right off the bat who are excited. I mentioned Jaheim Lawson, Tristan Smith. Will Helt is very, very excited to be there, plays with a lot of energy. You see it in his production. Jeremiah Alexander is one of those guys. And, it's time to get him on the field more. It's time to get him on the field more. Take advantage of, yes, he's a good athlete. Yes, this is his first year at Clemson, but he's excited. And at this point, just put as many excited players out on the field,
Yes, yeah.
So that's my thought. Woodaz, I'll never forget. I don't want to just like drill this guy.
I don't.
But very first play of the year against LSU, he meets Caden Durham in the backfield for a loss and slips right through him. And it's just something that you know what I'm saying. It's
a bad habit. You ain't snapped yet. Like, it's not just him though. Going back to the Duke game, like, 23, like the tackling and openers, I've already in my head, we're gonna miss a few. Okay, let's keep everything in front of us. But getting burnt the way we did in the Duke game, I was like, ooh, that's really not a good sign at all.
No. Well, and you also had your linebacker, your number one linebacker, Barrett Carter, who
whiff on 4 or 5 key tackles.
Well, and he came out afterwards and goes, well, I was in shape, but I wasn't in game shape. And then everybody started taking up for that. Well, he's not in game shape. And I retracted I was like, okay, I get that. And then I sat around and I went, well, Duke was in game shape. I mean, it's just, if we look at this, KD, there's all these excuses that's been mounding up. And the players are changing, but a lot of the coaches are not. So you know what that means. Yes. It's a development issue. So.
And I'm not on the fire Dabo train.
No.
I want him to look. I was 8 years old when he got the job. Like, he will always be a part of he will always have a special place in my heart. Like, I've seen him grow. I've seen Clemson grow. I want him to adapt and forever be a Tiger. But if you're not going to adapt, at least step down like Nick Saban did to a degree. But I don't want you to do that. I want you to adapt because I know you can win. And I know you can right the ship because it's not that far off course yet.
Yeah.
But you're a couple plays, like he likes to say, we're a couple plays from winning this game. And that you're a couple plays from being a 1-win team and potentially a 0-win team too. If Troy can hold the ball a little bit longer in the fourth quarter and don't throws one less pick, it's probably a different outcome in that one too.
Yeah. I say what?
Didn't they have a late pick? Like,
I want to say.
I'd have to go back and watch. I think they had a late pick in the game sometime.
I know that there was 2 interceptions in a row or something like that, but I wanted to say it was like in the third quarter. I could be wrong. It's all running together for me, but I remember there was 2 interceptions that the defense created. One was a bounced off a player and into another player's hands and so on. Those events, those chains of events, it changed a lot of things, but you're 100% right. You know, if we want to talk a couple of different plays here and there, this is different, man. I mean, we could definitely have 0 wins right now. Well, I say 0 wins. You'd beat Boston College, you beat North Carolina, but you would have 1 less win there. But Katie,
I say
go ahead
too, because you just look at them like, if we lose to them, somebody's staying where they're at. Like you're gonna have to find them.
Gonna have to get an Uber back to Clemson.
Yeah, we're not paying for it. You are, brother. Figure it out.
Yeah. We're not expensing this one.
We paid you enough. Figure it out.
Well, Katie, thanks for hopping on here, man. Thanks for waiting. It's good to hear from you. I appreciate it. And you take care of yourself. Don't be a stranger. Hop back on here next time we have a call-in show.
Yes, sir. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. I want to show this real quick. Eddie Blackmer, he's a big Gamecock. And he said this, it really does mean a lot to me. And I'm going to put this background. I've changed this background. And just anyway, I'm going to stop talking about the background. A super chat, $10. That's very nice, Eddie. That's very, very kind. As a SC fan, I know no one cares what I say, but just wanted to say I appreciate your channel and how you keep it respectful and PG. It can be done your way. Prompts to you. That's very kind. I appreciate that you appreciate that because, I mean, you know what? I always ask myself, can my kid watch this? You know, would the pastor of my church, would I be embarrassed for him to watch it? Not because I'm living for him, but because I believe in what he believes in, or else I wouldn't be there. That's what I believe. And so that's what I try to do. And, hey, sometimes I go too far and I say things, maybe it's not profanity, but I've deleted some videos because I said some things I felt like I went too far. So I appreciate that, that you like that. And I appreciate you supporting the channel here. $10. That's very, very kind of you. That's very generous. It means a lot to me, man. And thank you for being here, Eddie Blackmer's. Bunch of you in here. SEC dog talking trash from the Bulldogs. I'm going to tell you right now, he's talking some major trash, but he says a lot of truth things. Wrestler Weekly's in here. Ruby Ridge, Tiger Fan 24, Vegeta KO. Let me see who else is in here. Bunch of you are in here. Jonas just became a member, a monthly supporter. You can support on a monthly basis. There's a join button somewhere around here. Anyway, I made it really affordable. Y'all go check that out. Thank you for supporting the channel on a monthly basis, Jonas. And folks, listen, I'm an independent. I'm just a dude that loves my team. Grew up around Clemson, that area. I was pulling for them when they were 3-8 in 1998. I mean, yeah, it rhymes, but it's true. I was pulling for them before then. And so I'm just talking about Clemson with no strings attached. So if you like that sort of thing, I hope you'll at least subscribe, which is free, or you can support on a monthly basis. Got Roger Parks in here. How's it going? It's going good, Roger Parks. About to get to Clemson here in just a second. Got one more hanging on. I'm going to drop this link in here. You know what? I'm gonna take my last call of the night because it's starting to. I need to cook some dinner. I'm hanging here at the house. I'm just batching it. I was invited to dinner tonight with with my in-laws, and I love my in-laws and my father-in-law. The only problem with him, he's a gamecock, but he's one of the good ones. He's one of the good ones. But I said, you know what? I'm just gonna hang out at the house, and I decided to do a call-in show. So I'm just hanging out. So I'm going to take this last call in now. What was I going to say? There was something I was going to say. I can't remember. And yeah. Clemson, are you there?
I am here. Can you
hear me? How's it? Yeah, I can hear you. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really, really well.
I'm not going to keep you too long. I just have a couple of questions.
Clemson, I got a question for you. You don't have to tell me how old you are, but are you a youngin'?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're calling in.
You're welcome.
So go ahead. Go ahead. I'm all ears.
So I've dealt with Garrett Riley for 3 years, and on 3rd and 10, he likes to call bubble screens, and I'm not really a fan of that.
Mm-hmm. I think you and about 85,000 other people are not too fond of it.
So I want to hear your thoughts on what you think we should do with him.
Well, first off, good for noticing a pattern. The other team notices a pattern, and I'm not being sarcastic there. I mean that. I think a lot of the fans will sit and watch this, watch the games, and they notice the patterns. Now, at the same time, there's a lot of fans who are still going rah rah, and they think we're in 2018, and yeah. But good that you noticed that. Throwing the ball out in the flats, trying to get a quick screen, quick pass out there, or a bubble screen. Any type of play can become a gimmick. A delayed handoff can become a gimmick. Hitting the tight end too much over the middle, a gimmick play. Throwing the ball downfield all the time, gimmick. A fake punt, a gimmick. And we think of like flea flickers and fake punts as a gimmick. You know, you and I think about that. Do you play PlayStation? You play college football on PlayStation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're sitting there and you run that one play one time and you don't run it anymore for a while because your buddies knows that you're about to do that. It's no different in college football, in NFL, in high school, in Pony League. If you run a play too much, they know it's coming. And so my thought on it, and it's a very good question, and a lot of people would say, well, we know that they call that. Yeah, that's a problem that we all know it. My feeling is that a gimmick has become a game plan. And when a gimmick is a game plan, it's easy to stop. And so that's a problem. That's a massive problem. Really good football teams are not predictable. Unless it's some type of like power run, power play that they just can't stop. Okay, then you wouldn't stop it. This is being stopped all the time. So that's what I think about it, buddy.
And hold on, I just forgot what I was about to say. I had on my mind.
That's fine. Take a deep breath. When I forget what I say, I just start running my mouth, and eventually, well, I barf it out. While you're thinking about that, are you a football player? Do you play?
I play. I do play.
Oh, that's good. Now, for safety reasons, you don't need to tell us where. Don't do that. That's the reason my kids aren't on here. You don't see my kids. Which my oldest is 19, and he could probably beat the crap out of most people. But with that said, we won't be safe. I don't want you to tell me that. But that's good. That's good. What position do you play?
I play left guard.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, in the trenches. I have 2 nephews that play on the offensive line. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. Are you? Do you like hitting people in football?
Yeah.
That's good. That is good, buddy. That is good, buddy. Did you remember what you were going to ask or say?
No, but it'll be okay.
It will be okay. It will be okay. Any final thoughts that you want to offer everybody before we go?
On the wide receiver part, the other guy was talking about the Tristan Lee.
Uh-huh.
I think he should get a little more reps than he is because he's just taller than most people. And as you saw in the 4th and 21 play, he caught over 2 people. So.
You're right. You're right. And let me tell you this. Scheming for a football team is not easy, right? It's not easy. And a lot of people, when they're talking about football, they'll look at people, especially like me, who gets on here and I put my opinions out there in front of everyone, and they either like them or they hate them or somewhere in between. But that's one of the things they'll say is that, hey, scheming coaching football is not that easy, and I understand that. At the same time, taking a 6'5" guy and running him down the field, he's excited to play. He's got good hands. He had an outrageous spring game. You send him downfield, you throw the football up, and he catches it on the first pass that you throw up to him versus running some type of wide receiver screen to him. You get it. You're a young football player. I get it. I've been watching football for years. And sometimes it's just not that hard. Sometimes we make it too hard. So I think that's a really good, you got a really good thought there, buddy. Sound like you got a bright future, maybe in coaching.
Hopefully. I remember what I was going to say.
Go for it.
Garrett Riley tends to like to go away from what's worked. Like on the Vizina on the SMU game just now, Saturday. We drove down the field and we threw the ball the whole drive. And then the next drive we came out, 1st down run, 2nd down run, 3rd down screen pass, 4th down punt. I don't get that.
I don't understand it either. And there's a lot of people who they haven't been understanding it for a while. And there's also a lot of people who still don't understand it because they don't understand football. They watch a lot of football, but they don't understand football. And two thoughts here. Throwing a pass, all passes are not created equal. Meaning, throwing a pass out into the flat and you're throwing a screen. That's a pass. But throwing a pass 50 yards downfield against a really bad secondary, that's probably a good thing, wouldn't you say? And so I don't get it. A lot of people don't get it. I feel like that, Vizina threw for 317 yards, but the truth is Vizina could have diced them up for well over 400 yards had they just continued to throw downfield. So I think that's a good point. And listen, a lot of people are beginning to come around and realize it. But well, buddy, thank you so much for calling in. Thank you for holding. You held for a while, but I wish you a lot of luck on playing football. Work hard, pay attention to your coach. Be that kid that when they tell you to do something, you hear it the first time and you go do it, and you'll be fine, pal.
Thank you.
All right, you call in anytime. All right.
All right. See you.
Take care. That's awesome. That's awesome. It's always nice to hear when the youths are calling in. He waited for a while. Okay. I'm about to go. Go downstairs. cook some hamburger meat. That's what I'm going to do. And you're like, that's all? You're not going to make a nice burger with toppings, everything? Nope, just want hamburger meat. That's it. Put a little sea salt on it. Pepper. I don't know if I have any Worcestershire. I don't know. We'll see. A little onion powder, garlic powder. It's going to be delicious. I need to shut up and just go cook. No, first off, thanks to everybody who hopped in here. It took a while to get to some because, I want everybody to try to talk as much as possible, and it's always good to meet everyone. Here's a common thing that you hear in these calls. Notice no one called for Dabo to be fired. We live in a world, and it has been going on for many, 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 many years, that if you support someone, that means you support everything they do. Okay? This is a life lesson, by the way, too. It's just not about football. That if you support someone and you like them, that means you have to support everything they do. And that is false. All right? So that's why you still have people who will, do that thing to you when you say something against Dabo, because that means that you want him fired, you want him gone, you don't appreciate the national championships, you don't appreciate the playoffs, you don't, and that is a lie. That is a flipping lie. The truth is that there are people I love with all my heart who I agree with them on so many things, but there are things I disagree with them on. And vice versa. They would say the same about me. But notice there was no one calling for Dabo's job. I think it was KD that said, hey, listen, hey, I want the guy to change. That is the common theme with Clemson fans. We don't want this guy fired. We don't want this guy to tarnish his reputation. And folks, I'm going to say this, and I try to say this and not be a jerk. Coach Sweeney saw this first. He wouldn't care what I think. And next, I'm not trying to trash talk the man. If one of his kids seen it, I'm not trying to trash talk their dad. But I am telling the truth here. And here's the truth. Every time he walks up to that microphone and he smarts off to his fan base, and he did it right before Syracuse. And that was the last time, because he's had nothing to really say since then. That tarnishes his legacy. That makes him look bad. And if Clemson did hit their head tomorrow and paid the $60 million buyout, do you think other schools wants that running their program? The quick answer, no. So I don't want him to do that anymore. I don't want him to quit. I don't want him to be fired. I want him to go back to what got him national championships in the first place, and it ain't this. I was a hungry Dabo. That was a guy who had never won a national championship and wanted to prove that Terry Don Phillips didn't make a mistake by hiring him. And he did it. Go back to that. With some nuance for today's game. Go back to that, because at the end of the day, you listen to these calls, you read the forums, you read the comments on my multiple videos I'm cranking out. Most people are like, just adapt, Dabo. Just adapt. Just adapt. Just adapt. Because here's the bad part. If this continues and he doesn't adapt, and I'm not talking about NIL and the transfer portal, if he does not adapt to the realization that his coaching staff is not Clemson level, and he makes the proper hires, if he does not make the proper hires, like immediately, he may not be fired, but a lot of people will be glad the day that he quits being the coach of Clemson. And 6-7 years ago, we would have never thought that would have been the case. And none of us wants it. None of us wants it. But you can appreciate someone while simultaneously, civilly, and accurately criticizing them based off of their reputation from history. Yeah, there we go. Y'all are awesome. Long video. Appreciate y'all being here. Ton of you are in here on a Monday night. And I'm just hoping we can get through this bye week. Saying, I will tell you this. Go watch some other football teams. Seriously. Go watch some other football teams. There's some solid games this weekend. I cover that on my new channel, Another College Football Podcast. You need to go check that out. One of the most interesting games this week is Saturday at 12 o'clock on Fox. UCLA on a 3-game winning streak is traveling to number 2 Indiana. Yeah, Indiana's a 20-something point favorite. I talked about that on my live show this morning on Another College Football Podcast. Syracuse traveling to Georgia Tech. This is a game Syracuse is going to have to pay attention to, or Georgia Tech is going to have to pay attention to. If not, there's going to be a problem. UVA and UNC. Listen, UVA, last I looked, is only a 9.5 point favorite over North Carolina. North Carolina is terrible. You have Ole Miss and Oklahoma, 6-1, playing this Saturday. That's a big one. Number 15, Missouri, and number 10, Vanderbilt, 3:30. I talk about this and more on my new channel, Another College Football Podcast. Go check that out and subscribe. Go subscribe. It's going to be